Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, the latest addition to the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2021 has been revealed.
Plus a major update on why Aleister Black is missing from WWE TV.
We've got a backstage update on Charlotte Flair and WrestleMania 37.
And is NXT cursed? I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
All right, let's kick things off with the Hall of Fame. The latest inductee has been leaked to the world. WWE have not officially confirmed this yet. You will not have seen the official WWE graphic doing the rounds, but it's seemingly imminent because it's being reported by Fightful Select, and Fightful Select don't miss. The name of this person, who's joining Molly Holly, who's joining Eric Bischoff? Rob Van Dam. There we go. Interesting timing with this, as Van Dam is currently a free agent after leaving Impact. He has a network special, a WWE Icons episode in the works. It's coming up real soon, probably be as good as the rest of these WWE documentaries. That sounded sarcastic. It wasn't. These documentaries are genuinely great. But Rob Van Dam seemingly going into the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame worthy name for sure. I think it would be very, very difficult to argue that. You know, one of the standout figures from ECW's later years in particular came across in the Invasion, and you know, while the Alliance were supposed to be playing heels, Rob Van Dam was so damn awesome, you just had to cheer for him. He had that great match with Jeff Hardy, eventually became WWE Champion, dethroning John Cena in that wonderful moment at One Night Stand. Sight of him standing there in that building with the spinner belt is just such an oddity. But he had a great WWE career, lots of memorable matches, moments, feuds, everything else. Plenty of success elsewhere as well in Impact Wrestling. Last year in Impact, he was a mad shagger, doing that stuff in the hot tub and all that, whatever. Late career, Rob Van Dam living his best life. Yeah, I think he's a worthy guy to throw in the Hall of Fame for sure. Adam Wilborn, what do you reckon of RVD?
I giggled there when you said he's a Hall of Fame worthy talent, because I had the idea of when AEW were teasing their Hall of Fame surprise, that when everyone started saying Rob Van Dam, WWE went, oh yeah, Rob Van Dam, should we put him in this year?
Yeah,
but like you say, more than deserved. I think he's a fantastic talent. I mean, like you say, everyone will have their own special memory of RVD. And I suppose the only real disappointment this year's Hall of Fame isn't taking place on the 20th of April, but beggars can't be choosers. And I think he's going to be a more than worthy addition, like you say. And congratulations, Rob, although we are slightly jumping the gun a little bit here. From Rob Van Dam to Aleister Black. He has been missing from TV for months now. He last appeared on an episode of Monday Night Raw. And as I was reminded, thank God you reminded me this in your write-up of this story, Andy, he's not even on Raw anymore. He's on SmackDown. He hasn't popped up on there, but Dave Meltzer has provided an update on the latest episode of Wrestling Observer Radio as to why he has been missing from TV. According to Dave, he is dealing with some minor injuries during his time away from WWE TV, although those injuries aren't the only reason probably he's missing from TV. That's probably the main reason, but also his push has disappeared ever since the whole Paul Heyman debacle in terms of him being removed from power, etc., and that's why you haven't seen Andrade and Murphy and everyone else that was clearly Paul Heyman's favourites getting pushed, because Vince McMahon doesn't like them. Shock horror. Oh, God, I miss Aleister Black, Andy.
It's a whole hodgepodge of reasons with Aleister Black, isn't it? So it's been reported by Dave as well that Vince McMahon just doesn't like the guy. He's not going to put him on TV until he suddenly decides, hey, actually, Aleister, you're pretty cool. Get on TV. Singing,
Mr.
catering,
Burns shouted to cut those sideburns.
Yeah, it's just, you know, lots of different things. The injuries might be contributing towards it. You know, we have to mention Zelina Vega's departure from the company. And there are plenty of reasons to look at that and go, with this situation as well. It sucks for the guy. He's really, really talented. He was a big favourite of mine in NXT. Didn't have the greatest of main roster runs, but he had something like a 40-match undefeated streak that just went completely unnoticed and was never acknowledged. Never made the most of. I would not be surprised if he's a guy we hear about maybe trying to worm his way somewhere else in the future. The guy can't be creatively fulfilled at the moment, sitting around. Maybe he is, maybe he's happy, maybe he just wants to get that paycheck, but he strikes me as a guy who wants to put forth some serious work. So I would love to see him back on TV literally anywhere. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, MLW, Impact. Who else has a TV show? NWA, they're back. Let's get Aleister Black on TV. He's too talented to be sitting there rotting away.
Yeah, he's hoping that Aleister Black, along with Keith Lee, and I mean, I could keep going here, is just being saved for immediately after WrestleMania, although I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
No, certainly would not. Charlotte Flair, another update on her situation. We can't go a minute without talking about Chaz Flair at the moment, but she's got a lot going on, and PW Insider's Mike Johnson has come through with a new report on her WrestleMania 37 status. So, last week, Charlotte was removed from some promotional material. She'd featured pretty prominently in some previous advertising and everything else. She wasn't on this one. This got a lot of people talking. What the hell's going on? Mike Johnson reports here that Charlotte Flair was removed from these materials as a precautionary measure in the event that she would have to miss WrestleMania, in the event that she isn't cleared enough in enough time to compete at the show. So this week, of course, we learned from Charlotte herself that she has tested positive for COVID-19. Mike Johnson reporting here. Why am I just saying everyone's full name? That's really weird. But per the report here, she'd actually known about this for a while. So she presumably tested positive like a week or so before making it public, which would explain why she's been absent and why Andrade tweeted the other day that she'll be ready to go in 4 days. It's thought that Charlotte might return to TV on this week's SmackDown. WrestleMania is weird for her. No obvious match for her there. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka's happening. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. I mean, you could just hotshot a match between her and Bayley. That might be fun, right? But we'll see what happens on SmackDown. Just hoping that Charlotte's doing okay after her battle with this illness, which can be pretty brutal and pretty nasty. So
yeah, first and foremost, like you say, Andy, I hope she gets well soon. Hope she is available for WrestleMania, and that's down to WWE as to how they use her. Like you say, the ability to just hotshot a potential match of the year candidate with Bayley is amazing to think about. That's actually what Hamfler talked about when we were predicting the WrestleMania 37 card yesterday. Meanwhile, I'm booking Bayley and Billie Kay to become WWE Women's Tag Team Champions because I have my head in the clouds, basically. I think that they could easily crowbar her into that Asuka Rhea Ripley match. I think I'd quite like to see that, as much as it maybe muddy the waters of the other triple threat that's actually yet to be announced, of course, for the Universal Championship. I like that because of her relationship with the two other people in it, in Asuka and Rhea Ripley. But like you say, safety first, only if she feels up to it. As much as people say, oh, well, she's a trained athlete, this can take people down.
Hell yeah.
I was watching a video a month or so ago about a UFC fighter called Cody Garbrandt, who talked about having COVID and just how it knocked him on his arse, and he's a professional cage fighter. So yeah, I don't think you know everything about this horrific ongoing global bastard, but if she's up to it, yeah, it's, as much as I moan about her all the time, it's still Charlotte Flair, it's still WrestleMania. Basically, have her on the card, just make sure she doesn't win a title. Job done. There you go. That's that simple. Speaking of titles, though, look at that seamless transition. Unfortunately, Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan have had to vacate the NXT Tag Team Championships. This was announced on social media by NXT GM William Regal. Updates throughout the last few days about Danny Burch's shoulder injury. Turns out he has a separated shoulder, as reported by WWE host Matt Camp. He suffered the injury last week in that tag match where Burch and Lorcan, of course, faced Balor and Karrion Kross. There's a bit of an issue with a double suplex. That's presumably where the injury happened. A bit of a shame, this, because I do like the team of Burch and Lorcan. I think they were deserving tag team champions. But Regal says he's going to bring further updates around those titles on tonight's show. But yeah, NXT in a really bad spot at the moment, Andy.
It's rough, this, because the guys waited so long for the opportunity to become tag team champions, and then it ends via injury. Oni Lorcan, I'm not sure challenging Karrion Kross for tonight's NXT is a good move for your health and safety. In kayfabe, obviously. But we'll see what happens there. It sucks. I like these dudes a lot. They would not have wanted the reigns to end this way. Hopefully Danny Burch can mount a recovery in no time at all and maybe get back in the mix. The NXT tag division could use them as well. I guess maybe you might throw the titles into the Grizzled Young Vets versus MSK
Oh, please,
feud. Maybe?
please. Oh, I'm so happy you said that, Andy. Obviously I do. Zach Gibson is a hero of mine, and if they were giving out titles for promo game alone, give it them forever. But yeah, I think if you're going to replace a heel tag team as champions with another heel tag team as champions, look no further than a grizzled young veteran. Maybe that's a way for then when MSK get their title shot, they take it from the guys who injured. I think it actually might work out pretty well now I'm talking about it. But yeah, I for one bloody love the grizzled young veterans, and I think they more than deserve a tag team title reign.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, we want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Matt Ryan, aka Aussie Dead, who says, does AEW feel we'll do something similar to last year with the Stadium Stampede between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, or do you think they'll do a match as a familiar format like a War Games match? Yeah, this is set to explode over the next few weeks, Andy.
Yeah, it is. It sure is. I think this is going to be the Blood and Guts match. I think it is just formed rather perfectly for that situation. It's you know, it's right there. It's heated, it's personal, it's bitter. MJF infiltrated the Inner Circle over a course of months. I think you will be able to build a level of heat, if it isn't already there, that would satisfy that stipulation. And I think it would be a little more appropriate for this rivalry, Blood and Guts, than the Stadium Stampede, which was fun. You know, most of the Stadium Stampede was just pure banter, and it was awesome for that. It was exactly what I personally needed at that time in the global health crisis. But I think, yeah, Blood and Guts, War Game style match, the match beyond, all that stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, they were advertising Blood and Guts last year. And as much as it will not be a packed house for Blood and Guts if they did it with these two teams, or even if they did it with the Pinnacle and the Elite down the road, oh, yes, please. But yeah, I think I'd love to see it, and I think that it's sufficient now with the fans that they can bring into AEW Dynamite to pull something like that off. And oh my days, yeah, and the stuff we can get in the interim of the infighting between members of the Pinnacle and members of the Inner Circle, I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to see what they do to follow all that up on AEW Dynamite tonight. Right, Keegan Riley gives us our second question of the day. Keegan writes, with Riddle versus Sheamus for the US title at Mania, I am 98% confident Sheamus will take the title. He's been on an absolute tear. Can you change my mind?
No, I can't change your mind. I think he's going to win it as well, and I think he would deserve it. Like,
yeah.
This is the ideal thing you give to someone as like a reward for hard work, is a good solid title reign with the mid-level belt, rather than going all the way to the top, which you want to reserve for your most over people. I'm not saying that Sheamus isn't over, and we just have no way of telling at the moment because there's no fans. Yeah, Sheamus has been on one hell of a run. I've loved all the Drew McIntyre matches. He had a very good match with Bobby Lashley the other week as well. He's had a great year, kind of out of nowhere for a lot of people. We always call him one of the most underrated guys in the entire sport. Yeah, I think this would be really cool. Let's do it. Let's have a nice, stiff, hard-hitting match at WrestleMania. Let's put the title on Sheamus. Let's have him hold it for a long time, just kicking the crap out of people. Why not?
Again, stealing something from Michael Hamflet here, but he said this yesterday. The bro versus the brogue kick.
Oh, wow.
That's what's going to happen, and absolutely 100% behind you there. He merits a title reign, even if it is only the United States title. But he deserves a reward, and yeah, lifting a championship high over WrestleMania weekend is what I think they're going to do, and yeah, right thing to do. Final question today comes from Mad Pancakes, who's got a bit of a wild theory, Andy, writing, what do you think of this theory? I'm excited, but I also think it's really random that Laredo Kid is on AEW tonight. Also, notice that Andrade has no non-compete clause. What are the chances that after winning tonight, Laredo unmasks and reveals it's Andrade?
Less than zero. The chances of that happening are less than 0%. I don't think that'll happen at all. There's so many things factoring it. Like, Andrade and Laredo Kid have different body types. Andrade's a bit thicker. Laredo Kid has pretty distinctive tattoos. He's smaller and everything else. There's the sanctity of the mask, the sacredness of the mask in Lucha Libre culture. There's just so much that factors into it that I could not see this happening at all. I think it would be very cool if Andrade showed up tonight. I don't know if he will, but I think it would be cool if he did. But I'm excited to see Laredo Kid flipping and dipping nonetheless.
Yes, yeah, regardless of what happens post-match, Laredo Kid on Dynamite is going to be great. I love these sort of wild theories, so I'm going to say, to balance it out, 100% that is going to happen tonight. There we go. a balanced news channel. There you have it. Let's move on to today's ad finally. And normally I like find like weird stuff on the internet and bring it to you. I just want to bring this to you because I saw it this morning, a tweet we got from Noel D'Souza. Apologies, Noel, if I butchered that surname of yours there. I love this theory, Andy. It's not a question, it's just a statement. Brock Lesnar may be the bounty hunter to take out Drew McIntyre and take the spot against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Let's see if the prediction comes true. I genuinely haven't thought about this. Noel's using his big brain. What do you reckon, Andy?
I think that would be a very risky move on your first show with fans back, put it that way.
I love it. The whole offering out, like I said yesterday, I love it when someone's got a bounty on their head, even if it was a very convoluted way that they got to it, where Bobby Lashley didn't want the Hurt Business help, then did, and then wanted the Goobers to take out Drew McIntyre. But if he's just got a big old suitcase full of money, I mean, that's one thing that definitely gets Brock Lesnar's attention. So I don't think necessarily needs to take the spot of McIntyre's against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, but we've all been talking about, I mean, how many bloody triple threats do I want to book for WrestleMania? But still, we've all been talking about Brock in the build-up over the last few months towards WrestleMania for the big hoss battle. My word, how much meat can you put in a world title match, Andy?
Yeah, again, for less than 0%. It's not happening. Come on.
I love it, Noel. You've said it now, Noel. If it doesn't come through, I'm going to be disappointed. But let us know your thoughts on that and all the today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dudley Boys previewing the Wednesday Night War a little bit later on today. Plus, just going to let us know your thoughts, Twitter questions, and wild theories on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. While you're there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Happy Birthday The Undertaker, who I am reliably informed has now begun a Benjamin Button-esque reverse aging process and will be at WrestleMania for the next 30 years.
Quite right. Happy birthday, dead man. A man who definitely is not retired. It's a work. You can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at What Culture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.